Welcome back to Fourth Location. We are going to rank the upcoming cards for the March season. Scott and I, right before this recording, have ranked the cards from the order we think they are strongest to weakest. The ones most worth collecting is usually how I try to think about it. And we are now going to reveal each other's lists. They are marked as spoilers in Discord, and then we will discuss this season of Apocalypse. What did they call it?
It's called X-Men Origins of Apocalypse.
Origins of Apocalypse. All right.
I think it ties into the X-Men 97 season that's upcoming.
Yeah, and we have another Apocalypse-ish season coming next, right? Or at least it has 4 more Horsemen.
Yeah.
And then we have the new keyword objective, which we now know tracks throughout the game, which totally changes how I feel about it. Makes it a lot stronger, in my opinion. It's kind of a strange mix between on reveal and activate. Basically, these cards will have an objective, like a requirement that you meet, and then once they're on the board, if you have met those requirements, they will perform their action once at the end of turn.
And we'll talk about in detail what that means when we get to some of them. We'll give some examples, maybe.
Yeah.
But I opened up your rankings. I looked at your rankings. They are quite different. Yeah. So my reactions were very knee-jerk. I haven't really thought too much about these cards. When you read the article following this on fourthlocation.com, I'll have more fleshed out thoughts. I'm sure my rankings will change. But my knee-jerk rankings were Gambit, Iska, Ozymandias, Ensabaner, Juggernaut, Sandstorm, Caliban, Selene, Rama Tut. You had... What, you want to read yours?
Sure. I have Iska. We're both high on Iska. And then Caliban and Sandstorm and Selene, who you are all low on. Gambit, Ozymandias, Ensabaner, Rama Tut, Juggernaut.
So let's start at the edges. I first want to start with Iska.
Okay.
I thought about putting Iska at 1, but her stat line has changed a little bit in the data mines. So
I might have been looking at the SnapFan version.
So she is now a 4-3. What were you ranking?
Oh, that does change things, I think. I don't know. I don't have the SnapFan page up anymore. But okay, 4-3. If you're losing double this card's power.
I think she's cool and I think she's interesting, but I think she's a little expensive potentially. So I just got nervous after the nerf. There's the received wisdom that if they nerf something, it means they think it was too good in the developmental process. But 4-3 just seems like 4. I'm always worried about 4s, especially kind of weird experimental 4s.
If you play her on curve and she doubles every time, she hits 24. Because she'll go at the end of turn 4, 5, and 6. That's obviously huge, but that means your opponent has to have more than 12 power at the location at the end of turn 5, which is not something you can rely on. One reason I'm very high, I mean, I think she is just a solo lane winner, which is right there in her name. She's unbeaten. It's a great thematic ability.
It's a cool mechanic.
But it's end of turn, which means as soon as you introduce Invisible Woman for steps, she can easily get those extra doubles on the last turn.
Yeah, so I just looked. She had been a 3-2 the first time we looked at her, which I think her at 3-2 was better than her at 4-3.
Yeah.
But I still have her number 2 and you still have her number 1 even at a 4-3.
Right.
So I guess we both think she's going to be pretty good.
I'm interested. Like, you don't need to have the Invisible Woman first step synergy, but I'm interested in having a card that does have that synergy that is a higher curve. Like right now, I think like Doom 2099 is one of the only ones that you see like a higher energy cost card that people play with Invisible Woman. So I'm interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the more interesting cards for me. I had Gambit number 1, I guess just because Gambit destroys things. Gambit can be annoying. I figure he'll destroy some things and be good. You had him quite a bit lower. You had him 5.
Yeah, I think he's one that I'm less sure about because it's the timing that matters a lot. If he's destroying up to 4 total cost of enemy cards, you're destroying a lot of like setup cards, right? Like you could be destroying or else early scalers. So you could be destroying things like Morbius or Ravona or um, Merlin, like important cards that are helping your opponent a lot, or Surge. But you have to have 5 total cost of created cards out there, and
Mhm.
that's pretty hard to do um, early, unless you're gonna. But there are ways. Like Mysterio does it by himself.
Yeah, Squirrel Girl, Mysterio. I think those are the kinds of ways you go about it. Hood, Demon. Yeah, the timing is a little awkward, right?
Right. And you could easily proc it later in the game with something like an Arnim Zola or a Doom, but I think it's a lot less useful late in the game. You know, you're happy to hit a Morbius late, but like some of those setup cards, that's you're not helping yourself. Like they're usually low power, um, and there's also a lot more variance in what Gambit will be able to hit when your opponent has a full board.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the best things to do with regular Gambit is actually not use it as like a machine gun at the end, but you can just kind of cut off somebody's strategy very early, and you can get priority very easily that way. So I don't know. I think
Right.
there's going to be some uses for him, but it is tricky to get the created
I
cards.
think this struggles to do it without something like Brood or Mysterio. To get 5 cost of created cards early is not
Yeah,
easy.
you're gonna
I
have
mean,
to. You're gonna have to use
sometimes Monster
Mysterio.
Island will show up, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, different hot locations or whatever when they've got different hot locations.
yeah.
I mean, we also have some rock cards. Maybe there'll be more access to rocks and stuff later on. But I want to move
True.
on to the one I had last, and you had second to last. And I
Hmm.
want to find out why you don't have it last, which is Rama Tut.
I
It
think
seems petty to quibble over one space, 8 to 9,
sure.
but I feel like 8 is way too overrated for this card.
I think that my rating says more about Juggernaut than it says about Rama Tut.
Okay.
Um, I just don't think. What is Juggernaut, like a 2/8? Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
2/8. I just don't like. It's crazy that we're saying that, but this is where we are in Marvel Snap right now. I don't think a 2/8 that does nothing else and sometimes flops in as a 2/2 is a card worth playing.
Yeah, actually, that's true. The thing that when I first read Juggernaut that stuck out to me is that it's a 2/8, but there's no other further way to leverage it like there is with like a 2/8 that's an ongoing or a 2/8 that's an on reveal. You can't repeat it in any way because it's just the quest.
Right.
So I
It
don't
does
know.
have
People,
the ongoing thing where you could play this on the last turn and it will still do its objective and become a 2/8 that you play on the last turn. So that's something.
Mhm.
But also it's not a big deal if you play it early. I don't
But
know.
the one thing I kind of like about Juggernaut though is it seems like the easiest objective to fulfill of all the objectives. It just feels
Uh,
like if
in
you're
this
putting it
season, yes.
if you're putting a 2/8 this in your deck as a 2/8, it's just a straight 2/8. People would play just a vanilla 2/8 with no other text on it. And this isn't quite that, but I think in the right decks he kind of will be.
I think some decks would use a vanilla 2/8, but most of them wouldn't. I think there's so much synergy in Snap right now that you wouldn't take a vanilla 2/8 over something that's actually going to boost your engine.
I think there's plenty of decks that would play a 2/8 because you can get priority that way or whatever, which obviously this card doesn't do the same,
Right.
but
Um. Okay, so Ramatut, where he can use a random amount of 3 on reveals, and it's a fixed list. There are a few bad hits in there, like Modoc,
mhm.
but most of the hits that would either do nothing or that would likely be detrimental, like most of the discard cards, aren't on there.
Well, the
They
other
kept a
thing that we
few.
don't know is we've been told that the odds for this will be weighted in some way. It's not just a straight 1 in 42 or whatever,
Right,
that
so
they're
like Modoc
somehow
would be
weighted.
extra rare.
So it's actually going to be really interesting. So the card could be significantly better based on how those are weighted. I think we should run some sort of data analysis, play the card 100 times to actually find out those weights to truly rate this card.
I mean, that could easily be an article, right? I
Yeah.
think people are too, although I don't know if we'll see those weights. Hopefully that's something that like Sank can data mine from the game over at SnapFan.
Oh, maybe.
Um, I think people are low on Ramatut because they are very wary of randomness, right? People who get burned by Cersei a couple times and like, I'm never going to play this card again. It's like, well, but most of the time
Okay, but
he
so
can
it's like a
swing a lane.
surprise. It's like a surprise Cersei Erisham Kang style card, but with all those other cards, there's some other synergy hook. Like Cersei's getting rid of negative power cards. Ereshim's giving you extra energy. This is just like this will absolutely win games in
I
like
think
cheesy ways, but there's not really any way to like really further leverage it. Where you're playing Grandmaster,
I mean,
Absorbing
you could do
Man,
Grandmaster,
Odin,
and
something like
yeah,
that.
and I think he would lock in the 3 on reveals that he uses, and so you would know if they're worth repeating.
Yeah.
With something. Absman is interesting. Would Absman pick 3 new ones? I think so.
I think he would repeat the same 3.
Yeah, I think Grandmaster and Odin for sure. Absman, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I think you just think of Rama Tut less as a synergy card and more as an on-rate good card. 4/5
I
that
just
does 3 on reveals
oh, is
if
he
they're
4/5?
useful on reveals.
I was thinking he was 3/4. Yeah, it's 4/5.
4/5
4/5
is
is
worse.
no 4/5 is so bad. 4/5 is so bad. I don't know. I think the card's bad. I think that you
Well,
can.
I do too.
Here's the
I
thing.
just
Here's
think
the thing.
Jug is worse.
I think it's bad, but it's the kind of bad card that you could absolutely throw in a deck and not have it tank your deck in any way. Right?
Yeah.
It could actually, on a certain run, it would increase your win rate. So it's the kind of deck where if you want to play it, you can play it and not be like embarrassed that you're playing it. You'll win some games from it. I just don't think anybody whose deck building is going to choose this card over another card.
I think
The only reason to play it is fun. There's
I
no reason to
understand that perspective, but I won't be surprised if it turns out he's just a good card. Part of that is the snap and retreat mechanic, right? He lets you gamble early, and if he pays off, you're in a strong position. And if he doesn't, you can always retreat if he messes you up, right? Like there are locations where it's worth gambling on early. Danger Room comes to mind as one that I like playing in early because that puts a lot of pressure on my opponent if I have things surviving there. And if everything I play there gets destroyed, it's just a retreat game.
Well, yeah, if he was a 3 cost, I'd like him a lot more.
Yeah, agreed.
4 is late. All right, let me look. Okay, I've opened up the list of abilities that, according to SnapFan and August's graphic, are data mined for him.
Pick 3 at random.
3 at random. Like, I don't think you like the only ones you're gonna want are the ones that like add power to the board, which a ton of them don't. You get like a cable blob frigga. Like if you just get a frigga with that you're not planning for, it doesn't help
It is
you.
a little weird. Yeah.
Like you could get like a leader, a mole man would be a bad one to get, but or a good one to get. You know what I mean?
Is Mole Man that
Scarlet
bad?
Witch.
Like if it clogs your hand.
Looking at the list, it actually seems more fun to me than I even maybe thought. Just
Okay.
you get a leader and a Scarlet Witch. Like it's going to be a clip farming machine.
Right.
I
You get
just don't
3
see anyone
abilities. What are the odds
choosing to
that
put it
one
in
of
their
them is
deck at
good?
4/5. I don't know. Honestly,
You
I think we need to go through the list and figure out. Stay tuned to fourthlocation.com. When we do the preview for this card, I will have a complete breakdown of like the percentages of these that are good for you to hit.
Okay.
Even though we don't know the weightings or whatever,
Yeah, it
because
won't be good
looking
without the
through,
waiting. But it'll give you an
it
idea.
looks like most of them are just nothing. They're just the same as having nothing happen.
Give an example of some nothings.
Ares could be nothing.
Yeah.
Anti-venom could end up being nothing. Venom
bad.
could end up being nothing.
Is Venom in there? That's funny.
I mean,
Venom, but not Carnage,
some things
right?
you might get like some vague things like Psylocke, Crystal, Dakin. Dakin's nothing, right?
Dakin is bad. Honestly, I can't believe Dakin's in there.
I mean, again, I guess Esme Cuckoo, we have to wait and see what the weights are. And if it's weighted towards the good ones, I don't think they probably put that much thought into it. They probably just took the ones that are obviously bad, like MODOK and Sentry, and made them like a little lower. I bet that's all they did.
Yeah, probably. And they probably have some busts in there because it's funny. It's funny.
As is tradition.
It's funny when he hits MODOK.
As is tradition, we're spending the most time on the worst card of the season
because it's interesting. Okay,
it's the most interesting. It is the most interesting. I agree. But yeah, what's another one that sticks out to you? Let me get back to the chat for your list here.
How about the rock cards? Or maybe the season pass?
So where did I rank? I put Ozymandias 3 and Sandstorm 6, those could honestly be exactly
And I did
swapped. Oh, they
exactly
are
the
exactly
opposite.
swapped. I kind of was just thinking I'm ranking Ozymandias that high because I kind of think this rock archetype has a chance to be pretty good.
I think so too. I think it's a real archetype. Um, yeah, it's hard to know which of them is more important because Ozymandias probably is like the key to making the archetype real. So if you're only going to get one, that's the one to get. They're both event cards, so they're both super attainable for anybody who's actively playing the game right now.
Are
Um,
either of them going to see play without the other? Like, would you play just a Sandstorm in like a Zombie Scarlet Witch deck or something?
I I kind of think the reason I put Sandstorm so high, it's putting if you have a full front row, it's putting two demons into your hand.
Okay, so Sandstorm, yeah, obviously Sandstorm should be maybe the number one card of the season. It's a great Victoria hand card.
Like that's not a bad thing at all. I would
It's
pay
really good.
right. Like we pay one for a -3 hood and one demon,
Yeah,
right? So why not play two for two demons? Like,
yeah,
and you don't have to deal with the hood's body afterwards.
yeah.
There
I
is the
guess I hadn't
requirement
really
of you
thought
kind of
out
have to
like.
wait until you have a full front row for that to pay off that big.
Yeah, I mean, you could even play like an Ozymandias Victoria hand card, Victoria hand deck Sandstorm, where you're not even playing like Debris and those other kinds of cards.
Yeah, what is it? Sandstorm and Mole Man are the ways to get rocks into your hand. And then
Yeah. Doesn't wait. What is Mole Man's text? Would that count for Victoria hand? It doesn't because are they
I think it
created in your
would.
hand?
They're created in your hand. He banishes the
Okay.
top card of your deck and then creates two cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Rock's Victoria hand and like Rock's like kind of a Patriot style will both be real decks.
Yeah.
Are they
It's a
going to
lot
be
of
tier
power.
one? Probably not. But like I
Well,
could see them being tier
it
two.
depends what they nerf. Nothing's tier one as long as Star Lord is how he is or whatever. But they're
Right.
gonna nerf things. Like by the time all this stuff happens, the meta will be very different.
Yeah, I think there's a meta where the Rock deck is one of the best decks around. Like those are just big numbers.
Yeah.
I'm wary of how expensive Ozymandias is, but also like he's got a good body. He's what 5'9",
I guess
5'10".
Killmonger and Elektra maybe come back
He's
out.
5'9". Yeah, I mean if they're all over the place, yes. and then Kyera, no, Kyera doesn't see play even when
Yeah.
it's
She's just too expensive.
Killmonger meta.
She
Yeah,
just
she
feels
really
bad
is.
to play, even if you're playing a deck that needs her.
Right. I
All
wonder
right,
if they
let's
could
talk.
take off the 6 cost thing and then just leave that job to armor.
I don't know. I kind of like the duality of it. I mean,
It is interesting, but she's
she's a
not
great card
playable
on
right
hot
now.
location day for destroy locations.
Right.
But let's talk about Selene. You had Selene 4. I guess maybe I didn't read Selene that carefully. I put her at 8. Why
Selene
do you think
is
Selene's good?
she's a 414 if she does her thing. And I also think her
Yeah, yeah,
ability
yeah,
is
yeah.
very easy to do. Now the downside is you're playing either you're playing the Patriot deck or the Rock deck. Like you have to play a deck where you have 3 cards with no abilities, and that's rough to then throw in an extra 4 in a deck that has synergy, and you're trying to produce more of those things. But like you could have her just sitting on the board and then play a Doom or a Shanna
How
later.
many do you need? How many do you need on board for her to do her thing? What's
Three.
her objective?
Three
3.
cards with no abilities, and she
Yeah,
steals 5 power.
yeah. So you play her with demons, wasp in a show loud deck or whatever.
Yeah,
Like you
like
don't.
she
She
feels
doesn't need a
super
ton of
playable.
synergy, I guess. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we
Okay.
have there's so many of these just like 4 big cards, right? Like between
I'm
10 and
sold.
14. She's
I'm
big.
not high on her as like an Ajax Diamondback card or something like that, but just as a
Yeah, she's not an affliction card.
some sort of Patriot archetype or Rock archetype. I don't think she's in. I think she's just with like clones and
You don't think she
demons
makes the
and
Rock archetype, huh? I think I mean that is something that gave me pause. Like is she too expensive for the Rock archetype to play?
yeah, I think she's in a different deck personally.
Okay.
All right.
Should we
Who's
talk about the
next?
season pass?
Oh yeah.
Or Caliban?
Honestly, let's talk about Ensabaner. I mean,
Okay.
it's crazy that we haven't talked about him because he's so strange that we like didn't get to him yet. He's not that compelling. He's complicated, and I think his payoff is just not good enough for the
I
hoop.
don't like the payoff. Um okay,
Like,
so you have to
what are
have
you building? Let's try and build. Like, what are you pulling out of the deck with him?
that's the thing. He does Lockjaw, right? And I kind of want him to do blink. I want him to upgrade a front row card, and then all of a
Oh
sudden he's
yeah,
more interesting.
yeah.
There's no guarantee he's going to upgrade that front row card, and that's going to feel bad. Granted, he targets the lowest power card in your front row, so like the chances that it's going to be a positive thing are pretty good, especially if you have something like Void or Hood in your front row.
Yeah.
He ends up being a 4/8 that Lockjaw's the lowest power card in your front row, but you have to have a full front row to make that work.
All right. So how hard is that to?
I have plenty of decks I play that consistently, fill 9+ spots of the board, so I don't think it's that hard.
Yeah.
There will be decks that he can belong in. I just don't know if like the payoff is high enough to play him in anything that's not like the Hood.
Is there some
And
sort of
even then,
cross?
isn't Misery just better payoff for the Hood?
Yeah. Is there some sort of cross synergy I'm missing or something? Swap the lowest. I don't know. I mean, yeah. If you could guarantee the hit in some way better, you playing with M'Baku maybe.
But
So
then you
that
have to make
M'Baku
sure
comes
that
back out.
3 is the lowest power card in your front row. That's
Yeah, I
hard.
guess M'Baku's been buffed too much, huh?
Uh,
Nerf M'Baku.
you could play multiple cards on Apocalypse, but then like Wong is low power, so that's dangerous. You're gonna swap out your Wong.
Oh yeah, I
I
guess he's
guess
repeatable in a way that the
he
other
would
one.
lock in. He would lock in that he's doing 2 before he switches out Wong. So that's not the worst thing, but yeah, I just
Yeah, but you could do something like a Grandmaster on him or an Odin
yeah, that's true.
once he's transformed.
And you don't have to continue to meet the objective because he will have transformed already.
Yeah, he's a new card. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. But even then, I don't think random swap in your deck is necessarily a good enough. It's
Yeah,
not reliable enough.
I mean, maybe there's some combo I'm not seeing. Maybe Iron Cloak will tell us what he's doing with him or something. But I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't see the payoff being worth the effort, even if the effort's not that hard for some decks. I mean, maybe you play him in the kind of deck where you just always know you're filling anyway. So then he's just like pure upside or something. I don't know.
Okay, just one more. Caliban, who I'm quite high on at number 2, and you're quite low on at number 7. Um, on the one hand, he's just a 3/11, and like I understand, I was
I mean,
low
you were
on 2/8
scoffing at the
Juggernaut.
2/8.
Right, I'm down on 2/8 Juggernaut and high on 3/11 Caliban, but Caliban targets the highest cost enemy card, and I think that's something. I don't know if highest cost is as good as highest power, but it does work. If you can,
Highest power would be better. That's why Omega Sentinel's been a little better than people thought. Like being able
right.
to just always target their tallest tower.
So this is a 3-cost Omega Sentinel, but you can't do silly Jocasta things with it.
I just think that the restriction's not that hard, but it just seems a lot harder to me than Juggernauts. Like you can only
It's
put this
more
in
of a
certain
build
types
around.
of decks.
It has to be ramp or something like
Yeah, right.
you have Zola or Doctor Doom that is just giving you what you're looking for. 3 cards that are 4-cost or higher.
Nimrod or something.
And Nimrod, yeah.
I mean, you can just play. It's trying to reward you playing on curve because you just go 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right. Nimrod's actually not a bad call. Doom 2099?
Doom 2099 is pretty good.
You easily have 3 cards that hit 4 or more power.
But I just
Or
think
4 or
they're
more
so much
cost.
better. Like, why would you play this over like the new Drax or
311
Jack
is more
Flag or something?
This is better than new Drax.
This is
How
not
often are
better
you
than
getting
new Drax.
Drax to 11?
Every time you put him on the board. Like, I don't know what meta you're playing in, but people are playing multiple times for the Drax Avatar of Life.
Oh man, I hardly ever see him go over 7. Maybe it's the
Right.
maybe it's the decks that I play.
Yeah, yeah, because you're playing low to the ground. You're not playing Star Lord shenanigans.
Yep. Okay.
Or
That explains a
you're not
lot.
playing Fin Fang Foom Ramp either. Like
Right.
those are common decks that people viewers out there, you're seeing those decks.
Yeah, you're right. I do see a lot of Fin
And
Fang Foom.
Jack Flag is better in a Doom deck than this.
What's Jack Flag when he's full? 311 also, right?
Yeah.
I
I
think
guess
this
they're
is more
kind of the same.
reliable than Jack Flag.
Hey,
Jack
maybe
Flag
you
needs
play
a
them
full
both,
lane.
right?
Yeah. But Jack Flag needs a full lane of cards that are getting buffed. How are you buffing Jack Flag himself in Doom 2099? Like, I don't know. I think Caliban has a home in some decks, and maybe it's only niche decks, but there
I
are
think
plenty of
he's
decks
like
where they can't
okay.
get 311 out of their 3 cost.
Yeah. I just think there's so many like 3 with upside. Like I'd just rather play copycat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like unless
it's
I'm
this.
finding some specific synergy.
Right. Your arguments against Caliban are my arguments against Jug, where I
Yeah.
just don't see
I,
putting
I
in
do want I
just
do
a
want to
high power
talk
two.
about I do want to talk about Jug and Caliban. So it's like in the comics, there's like Archangel was the angel of death or the horseman of death or whatever at some point. Apocalypse has had a lot of horsemen, but I don't know any comic storyline that has these characters as these horsemen.
Yeah,
I
so we're
don't.
getting
There
original
were
characters in Snap.
Juggernaut, Horseman of War. Well, no, so I don't think it's original characters. I think it's spoilers for X-Men '97.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
But Juggernaut's really out of nowhere. He wasn't in like any of the previous seasons. I don't. Juggernaut especially is bizarre that there's a
Yeah, is
Juggernaut Horseman of War. If Snap came up with that, that is odd. Because is Juggernaut so popular of a character that you want to make a second card of him? But he's also not drawing from source material that we know about. So it's got to be secret source material. I
I
just
think you're right.
it's so hard for me to believe that they were like, you know what we really need? A new Juggernaut card. Everyone
Has
loves Juggernaut.
Selene been a horseman? Because I've seen people arguing like she would never, like her character would not be willing to be subservient to
Like
Apocalypse.
Suburban. Yeah, I just it's strange. I wonder if there's just something else coming out. I mean,
And then
they have
Caliban, we're
done
getting
minor
before we don't
they
even
have
have a
done
Caliban
minor
card right now.
spoilers for MCU projects and stuff like
Yeah,
that before, like Deadpool and Handsome Pool and all that. But this just seems too big for them to have done as a spoiler too.
right.
Like, there's no way that the season is Selene and Juggernaut and Gambit and Caliban, and they're just putting that all out there. I don't know. I think they maybe did come up with them,
It's
and
very
it's so
interesting
strange we're
either
getting
way.
Caliban Horseman of Pestilence before we're getting a Caliban card.
Yeah, which I think is an argument for it being tied to something and not just invented by
Because
Snap
why would they choose Caliban?
instead of a character who's already in the
So
game.
the
Yeah,
characters are in the game, and then next season there's Polaris and Storm.
Storm,
Polaris has been. I mean,
Wolverine.
some of them have been these characters. Like Gambit, I think was the Horse of Death, and Polaris definitely was Horseman of Pestilence.
Yeah, we have that variant in the game already.
Yeah, I know it's insane. That when they made that variant, they definitely weren't thinking, oh yeah, we'll definitely make a Polaris Horseman of Pestilence card eventually.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Go to fourthlocation.com. Keep your eyes peeled for the article. I think we usually try to put them up at the same time, actually.
Yeah.
But the article will be written after this was recorded, so we will have more informed thoughts. It will be more thought through. All of our videos, and with listing off the champions of fourth location. We appreciate everybody who supports us, but these people support us at a slightly higher level, and this is a perk of that. Blue Sky Snapper, Chase Pitzer, Copy Dog, Iron Cloak, Pulse Glazer, Ryan Wood. Check those people out on YouTube, those last two, and Sir Chad of David. Thanks to all of you, and we'll see you later.